everybody's week been? That's how we start the episode normally.
It's too early to tell. But it's
been a week since our last podcast, guys.
Oh,
so how
has the last
7
week
days
been?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Oh, fantastic products.
Good enough.
Okay, guys, we normally go into it a little bit. Who wants to actually talk about their fucking week?
Oh.
Everyone's like, good. Next question?
Well, one of my Sketch Sawyer videos, self-promotion, was part of my weekend. We went to the dog pool and let our dogs swim. That was fun.
Yes.
The other half was chores and yard work, which isn't worth sharing, really. This week has been calm and relaxing, working on my book. Today especially was especially peaceful. And that's basically all I got.
Nice.
Class is going well. My class is going very well. My last class session was great. So.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
How often is that?
Every Thursday from 5:30 to 8:30.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's like a 3-hour performance. It's mentally taxing.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Wait, when did this fucking Plants vs. Okay, sorry, I'm looking through stuff ahead of time and I shouldn't be.
Professional.
We do this all the time. Ryan,
I went to St. Louis this weekend, and we were gonna go to Six Flags. Yeah, we visited you this past weekend.
Was that this past weekend?
I was in your home.
I thought that was 2 weeks ago, dude. My week has been fucking weird, homie.
No. No, yeah, we went to Six Flags this weekend, and it was Labor Day weekend, right? Was that this weekend or was that last weekend?
No, that was 2 weekends ago.
Damn.
Yeah, see? Time's fucky right now.
Man, I am all off. All right, well, I didn't do shit this weekend then. It's been a very lazy week.
Lazy. Let's be lazy.
Yeah. Did I finish my garage this weekend then?
Yes, you did. That's what you did.
Yeah, that's what you did.
That's what I did.
Oh my God.
That's what I did this weekend.
How is it we know everything
I
you
don't
did?
know. Why is he asking us what he did
My
this
world
weekend?
is falling apart.
And you only have one kid.
Oh, no, it's not the kid.
I'll go next so there's no stagnant audio. This weekend we celebrated Sai's 5th birthday, so he is now 5.
Last weekend?
No, that was technically last weekend. Yeah, this past weekend. We did Sai's birthday, hung out, and then this week's gonna be great. I took the rest of the week off work, so it was a lot of fun. It's very rare that I get to actually stream during the day.
Oh yeah,
so
people in your fucking Discord were like, "Did I just see that you're going live at 11?"
Yeah, it was a rare unicorn-like sighting. It's gonna happen again tomorrow, and it's sure as shit gonna happen on Friday because that's the whole reason I took off. And we'll talk about that. I would imagine a little bit later because
yes,
I almost forgot. A little game starts tomorrow at 11 p.m. Central Time.
A little game.
Yeah, just a tiny one.
Oh wow.
Just a tiny one.
I'm tempted to take time out for that.
It's been.
Oh, I put it on the wrong thing. Yeah. It's been what now? Go ahead. Keep talking.
It's been getting good reviews.
Except for one, I saw one that was fucking scathing.
Yeah, it seemed like they just had a problem. They were just out to get somebody. I don't remember if that was Polygon or Kotaku.
I think it's somebody from Polygon.
Yeah,
she was like, the
title
humor
was
sucks and the game's built on the humor.
And I was like, okay, that's cool.
That's because it's not the Birch twins or Birch family writing it this time, right?
No, the Birches are involved.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I'm excited about it. Everyone that I know that's played it's been like,
I'm super pumped.
It's incredible. So,
well, Caleb and I just interviewed Kevin with Game Union something or other.
Game Workers Unite.
Yeah, and he said that the entire team is different than it was on Borderlands 2, which makes sense considering it was like, what, a decade ago or something like that?
Yeah, 8 years, something like that.
Yeah, so that makes sense. But yeah, so interested to give it my own opinion.
Jordan.
Yeah, I know it's a...
Oh, go ahead.
Jordan, go ahead.
Nope, go ahead.
Nope. I was just going to say, I know it's a new creative director, but, All right, go.
Yeah, Jordan. How's your last 7 days been?
It's been pretty good.
How about you introduce him?
Yeah, who is Jordan? Let's start there.
Sorry. For those of you listening,
This mystery figure.
Part of the Sawyer NerdyBits legacy, if you will.
Yeah, Jordan is my youngest brother. He is 19. Graduated high school in June. Plays baseball. He's dope. He's a dope outfielder and good middle infielder. And he plays a shit ton of games and kicks ass at Fortnite. And he's a good hitter.
Yeah,
He's inhumanely good at Fortnite. He once installed the game on my Xbox, played 5 matches and won all 5, and had over 10 eliminations each round.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yep.
There we go.
We'll make a Twitch star out of him yet. Just you wait.
Yeah. We got a place that you should. We got cameras. You can come. Anyway.
There you go.
How's your week been?
All day long.
It's been good though. Just been working and saving money and playing games. So.
Doing the old rat race. My week has been pretty swift. I worked 12 hours yesterday at GameStop because I forgot that Pixel Press was this weekend, and I don't know how that happened, and so I had to move some stuff around. I worked all day yesterday. Ben and I, as he was saying, talked to Kevin Gawaze from, oh my goodness, I'm an asshole, because I definitely remembered it, and I forgot already, and I'm a jerk for that. I think it's Aguaze. Yes. Talked to Kevin. He's from the UK. I guess Game Workers United is based in the UK. And he talked to us for about an hour about the unionization movement across the globe, talking about South Korea and all across the UK and the struggles of getting things launched in the United States and how that's been going. So that was really good. And then he also talked about a couple other things that were super great. He went in, he did like a 5-minute short deep dive on what a game engine is and how many engines have like changed hands.
This is a gentleman who spent a lot of his life deep into the game industry and has a lot to say about all of it. So every time we asked him something, he's like, okay, let me unpack that for 10 minutes. So it was really entertaining.
Can I ask what's the challenges he's facing in the States versus it seemed like when you and I, when we debriefed a little bit on the Discord, that they seem to be having a lot of success across Europe and South Asia.
Interacting with the States a whole lot.
But he said that a lot of the things that like they're running into is that instead of in the UK and in Europe where you can just be like, Belgium, do something, France, do something, whatever. In the United States, it's state by state. And some states are at will or right to work or all these different issues run into it, and it's state to state, so it's hard to get something done across the United States as a whole.
He also said he's not really focusing on it quite so much. His home turf is really the UK and the rest of Europe, so yeah, he's just not quite focusing on it really. But that's okay because not every game developer is from the United States, so a lot of what he said was extremely insightful. Stuff about Ubisoft and EA and stuff like that. It was really cool. So we'll have that live in probably at least a few days. We're gonna cut it out. We had some connection problems.
Because we're going over that cast like instantly.
We were transmitting over the Great Blue, so we'll stitch that together.
Fun fact.
You're shaking your head at me.
Fucking Great Blue, get you every time.
The fun fact from that conversation that I'll share with everybody right now is that you would never guess it, but Far Cry is built on Crytek because Ubisoft owns a version of Crytek because Crytek was used for Far Cry when they bought Far Cry as a license, and they used the Crytek engine to build into the Dunia engine.
I don't know if that's a big reveal, Caleb. There's Cry in both the names, like the system started.
The fact that Ubisoft is using Crytek is a big deal.
Well, no, I could see that. They white labeled it though. Because Cry would sell their engine and allow you to white label. So, I mean, it's the same thing that we do. My company uses a whole bunch of different BI products. They're not our products, but we've paid for the licenses to change the name. So you would never know that it's this certain BI tool that certain giant corporations make because our name's on it, but it's their engine behind the scenes. So don't listen to him, Jordan. Don't let him tell you what to do.
I'm constantly blown away that Apex is using the Source engine.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Which is fucking incredible.
Apex
so.
and Titanfall both used Source.
Both use Source.
Titanfall as well. Sure, I believe that.
The fact that
It's
Titanfall
fast and
is,
silky smooth and one-to-one, snappy, responsive.
Yeah, that's
the
how
way
they.
to go.
That's how they get it.
Yep.
Which is amazing.
But yeah, that's how we've been doing for the week. But I guess we should kick it off, right? You guys want to dive
Why not?
into the news and all that good shit?
We gonna do an intro, or we gonna?
Yeah. So for those of you who are here, what's up? It's another episode of the Bounty Board podcast. We do it every week. And we've already introduced our guest, Jordan Jones, my younger brother, Ben's youngest nephew. It's your favorite artisanal, goofy-ass podcast. I am Lubwub, one of your hosts. To my immediate left is Sketch Sawyer. What's up, Ben?
Hola.
To my immediate north is Sergeant Sodium. What's up, Ryan?
What's up, guys?
And then to the northwest, for those of you watching at home, the man, the myth, the legend, Hyperglass. How's it going, Eric?
What's happening?
Yeah. So, as you know, we get started with a little bit of a conversation and then dive into news. And we don't have a ton of news, but we do have some interesting stuff mixed in with the news. I want to take this first one because I didn't realize this was a thing. But, like, EA and Plants vs. Zombies are trying to battle binge culture with their new release of Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. Which, did anybody in this group play the closed alpha for?
No, I remember getting an invite for it, but the franchise in general sort of turns me off, as I just don't care about doing any of the things that this game's based on. I don't care about Plants vs. I know, but come on.
Yeah.
Would you do?
Yeah.
Would you? Yeah, I don't know. Would you do a My Little Pony shooter? No, I wouldn't either. So.
Yes.
Actually, that sounds amazing.
Yo, if there's somebody...
Hold on.
Sorry.
Whoa. Let's back off that minute.
Also,
Yeah.
for what it's worth, like Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2 had a solid enough shooting
I understand.
core that it fucked with Call of Duty and Battlefield.
I understand, but it's still Plants and Zombies. Like, I just don't care.
If it were
right?
pirates and ninjas.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Okay.
It's just it's the source material. So,
All right.
and no shade to the ponies
Eric,
or
did you
bronies
really
out
just-
there. I've got, I support
Did I really just say if it were
Did you really
pirates
just
and
suggest a game that's Pirates vs Ninjas, thinking someone might say no?
They had one.
I know they did.
Xbox Live had a Pirates and Ninjas game.
I know they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was called Greatest Warrior or Deadliest Warrior. Or something.
No, there was also a Pirates and Ninjas game. But anyway, that's not a topic.
Plants
Anyway,
vs Zombies is the shit. But anyway.
So how are they fighting binge culture? What does that mean?
So after a mere 24-hour countdown, this article is from Polygon. Thank you, Eric, for grabbing it. It was written by Halavir. Is that how you pronounce that? Xalavier. Halavir Nelson Jr.
Xavier?
It's
No, there's an L in there.
homie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
All right.
After a mere 24-hour countdown, Electronic Arts launched a massive new entry to their Garden Warfare series, and it introduces 4 full PvE campaigns across 3 open-world hubs filled with quests, collectibles, secrets, and a slate of multiplayer modes and free-form social areas. The key surprise here is not just that EA continues to pump money into the idiosyncratic all-ages shooter, but the method the publisher is using. They're calling it... Oh, wait, what? They're calling it Founders Edition?
Surprise mechanics.
Oh, God, is it really?
No.
Zalavir.
Okay, okay, dope.
Got it.
I was close. I said Halavir.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how that X would play out.
Or Halavir.
Hey, I nailed it. Then I'm taking that. That's a win. I count this as a win. Time travel. Sorry. I don't know what this doesn't really get into. Binge culture is increasing a backlog of 100-hour video games that you may play for a dozen hours each. So they're releasing the game in increments. This doesn't sound super new, does it, to anybody?
No.
It seems like angled reporting. Games released sequentially is not new, but if it's their intention, if it's their public statement to say we don't like people blasting through our games in a single weekend, so we're gonna trickle it out so that you can't, then that's a statement made by the dev team of the EA saying that we don't want you to binge our game. So
Sure.
that's interesting. I've got a lot to say about binging. But
Yeah, but that I wouldn't really say that's binging because then I mean this is not the only game that would do that. I mean, there's other games that release stuff slowly. Like we're gonna put this out this month, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna put something out in 4 months. It's like
Hitman.
You're just trying to put a name on something that somebody's already.
Yeah, well, that's fine. That's marketing, right? But like Hitman did that. Hitman was sequential.
It was episodic.
And-
yeah.
Right, and
Right.
and so was everything Traveler's Tales did to their chagrin, right? But I think people want binging these days. They want all the content now. And
Isn't that how games have always been, though?
They used to be that way. You bought a game and you had everything.
and you had a complete package?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's been what? When did we start? When's the first instance of episodic gaming?
Probably before Walking Dead. There were, I'm sure, games that were episodic before that.
Walking Dead is the one that really popularized it.
Yeah, it started it back.
Yeah,
over.
the Telltale. I mean, there were always the adventure book. I remember there was, what was it, Full Throttle back in the day. I might be dipping way into the well with that one.
Full Throttle? That was released all at once, though.
Was it? Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
remember. Maybe there was there add-on I remember there being something additional to that game that came out after. Man, that game was good.
It was so good.
It's just so good. We just need to have a podcast, Ben, where we reminisce about shit.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
So yeah, I'm trying to find the first episodic game.
So while you're doing that,
yeah.
the Founders Edition for Plants vs. Zombies, buying the game at 25% discount, 30 rather than 40. Founders get a staged rollout of the content that will be available at launch. The first week has the first segment of content, a PvE campaign and multiplayer mode. The second week expands the game further with another PvE region and multiplayer mode, and so on until the game's official launch on October 18th. So they're not even releasing it differently. They're just saying if you buy into it early, we're going to give it to you in pieces until it's all the way out. But on October 18th, the game's just going to come out.
Yep.
That seems...
Oh yeah, think about Half-Life 2.
Oh yeah,
Half-Life 2 and then episode 1 and 2. Before that, we had Shining Force 3 on the Sega Saturn.
that's right. Shining. Okay.
Which is a 3-parter that released between 97 and 99. It gets pretty obscure before that. Atari had a video game competition where the winners would beat a game and actually get like real world like swords and crowns and like a bucket of jewels, and like it was fucking absurd. Angry Video Game Nerd did a whole feature on it. And all 4 games were different elements released at different times. So it's been around a while, but we can probably give the credit to we said it already.
Telltale?
What? Telltale.
Telltale.
Yeah,
So Smurf threw in the chat that the first episodic game was 1979.
Well,
yeah,
you just ruined your Smurf fact.
well, he pasted the Wikipedia. I just figured I would stick with things people have heard of. But thank you, Smurf. That's 1979 automated simulations dungeon with a J. Why not? Quest series started with a temple of something I'm not going to say, and in the same year, several mini episodes. Yeah, so we've been fucking with it since virtual software has been around. Simulated software, all that stuff. But
So Plants vs. Zombies is
not
doing
not
something
big till
different.
recently.
Plants vs. Zombies is doing something different, but it's not really different.
It's
they're
just marketed differently.
Yeah, basically, yeah. They're letting you buy
They're-
in early.
I kind of
You get
feel
it
like
before release date, but in chunks.
I kind of feel like sort of harping on the binge culture is sort of edgy. You feel me?
Yeah, that's
Right?
why I hate when people do it.
Because a lot of people like, oh, I watched this show. I watched this whole show yesterday, right? And then they're really proud of that, and everybody else is like, oh yeah, right on, bro. And then like EA steps in and goes like, oh, binging is bad, and now it's got press, and now we're talking about it.
Ben just
right?
aligned himself with EA. I love it.
Well, not necessarily, but it's an edgy marketing tactic, like leaking something,
Sure.
Right.
iPhone in a bar.
Right. Exactly.
iPhone in a bar. Eric, you started diving into something in the news that you and Ben had a conversation about. What's Nintendo doing again?
Oh yeah, so we were talking about some of the content that NerdyBits is putting out last night, and one of the thoughts was to play some of the older games, and it was brought up that we could potentially use some maybe unscrupulous methods to do that. But Nintendo again
I know what you're talking about.
has
How did you bring
this
that up?
this article comes to us from our friend Luke Plunkett over at Kotaku. Nintendo again is suing another ROM site into oblivion, says the article. Pretty brazen. This ROM Universe is the name of the site. They boast that they have 60,000 ROMs you can download, and they give priority access to people that pay the $30 a month membership, which is kind of crazy. So
that is crazy. I've never heard of a ROM site taking memberships.
That's probably how they got on Nintendo's radar.
Right, exactly.
Not
375,000 members is what it says on that.
Wow, not smart. Nintendo is asking for 150,000 for each copyright infringement and up to 2 million for each trademark infringement. So
that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of spaghetti.
It's a lot of spaghetti.
It's a lot of spaghetti. So,
it's a lot.
So when does something when do games become public domain? How what's the?
It's up to your copyright.
Well, I mean, if you look at the screenshot on the article, it literally has Nintendo Switch scene ROMs, movies, ebooks. I mean, it's not like they're limiting themselves to.
Oh, good. Okay, so they're just
to just Switch
entirely
games.
Unscrupulous.
It's the 2019 version of Whereas or LimeWire,
Right.
basically.
Yeah.
Or Mediafire, yeah, sure.
Right.
60,000 ROMs, movies, ebooks, high-speed download, upgrade. I mean, it's all right there.
I would like it to download
Yeah,
something.
they were morons for trying to monetize that.
Yeah,
You get what's coming to you. It's sort of like, what was it? Who's the rapper that did the Superman dance? Who's that?
Oh, Soldier Boy made his stupid
Soldier Boy made a
ROM systems?
handheld game with it's just basically an emulator that he got off Amazon.
Yeah.
No, he made
Nintendo
a
fucking
full-
sued the pants off him.
Yeah, he made a full console lineup. He made a handheld, a console,
And he didn't call it the Soldier Boy.
Dude, so dumb. Soldier Boy color.
Right.
I was like, Ryan isn't laughing at this. It's funny, and then he got it.
There he goes. Just took him a minute to catch up.
Yeah, don't steal shit, guys. It's bad. Next news thing. From,
Steal shit. Just don't ask money for it.
Yeah.
Or
If you're gonna-
if you're gonna do it, don't fucking announce it and charge for it. Stupid. Next news thing from Kotaku, also from Luke Plunkett.
Thank you, Dent.
What did Dent say? Oh, he threw a gift.
It just nice gift.
Okay, nice. All right. Also from Luke Plunkett out of Kotaku, Project Resistance is the next Resident Evil game. He said latest, but I think it might be next. Teased earlier this week. I don't know if you guys saw it. I don't know what
I did.
was it a PAX? It wasn't PAX. No.
No.
So there was just a trailer that came out of
it's
a couple of 4 people running around is clearly a dungeon type game.
Dead by Daylight, branded by Resident Evil.
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I think it's like Evolve. So
Yeah,
here's
it's a
the thing. Here's the
4v1
thing.
asymmetrical
It's
co-op.
asymmetric as fuck, but
Yeah.
like it looks like it's dungeon based, where the person who's playing on the other side is controlling what's happening in each room with probably
cool.
a certain number of points.
Oh, that's
and then
really
at the
cool.
very end of the trailer, he hits a button and then stands up and puts on gloves, and then Mr. X from the Resident Evil games walks into the room, and his eyes glow red as the guy's gloves glow red. Like you get to control boss types that you throw at the
Right.
people. And it looks like it might be something where you're trying to dig your way through a dungeon and get out, with another player controlling the dungeon as you're doing it.
I feel like there was a game
It's
that was
such
coming
a
out.
stressful trailer.
Why do you say
Oh,
that?
Fable Legends.
Yeah,
That's
I was
what
gonna
I'm
say
thinking of.
Fable tried to do this.
Fable Legends.
Or Fable
Yeah,
said
they
they
had
were.
the dungeon master that was setting everything up against the heroes, and then you ran the course. So it's Saw the video game is really what it is.
Panda says it's a D&D game with 4v1 dungeon creator.
All right. Well,
Oh
there we go.
no, the Panda sang games like that already. There's a game that just came out like that. It's a D&D.
Yeah, Breach is 4v1 too.
Yeah, I like this idea a lot. It's called Project Resistance. The end of the trailer, which honestly doesn't show any gameplay. It's all pre-rendered. Says more coming at
Really?
TGS, right?
Makes sense.
So we'll see some of Tokyo Game Show, which is in November.
There's a public beta in October. The public beta in Japan is next month.
Yep.
Okay, so they'll get it before us. That makes sense. Whenever Tokyo Game Show is, I think that's where they said they were going to do more of.
Geez, speaking of Tokyo Game Show, I don't know if this is in our segment or not. You guys see that freaking Final Fantasy VII trailer?
Mm-hmm.
God,
I have a really
so good.
It was very pretty.
yeah. So
Oh,
that
God.
that can be news. A news Final Fantasy VII trailer came out, and it's fucking gorgeous.
Something else, man.
Yo, I have
Yeah,
a hard time being excited for this game though.
Well, to each their own, I guess. But when they tease like the Cloud cross-dressing and working out with Tifa in the gym and stuff like that, like it's filling. So I think we know we're only getting Midgar, as we discussed, I think last week. So they're really filling it out. So they're doing mini games in the gym for when Cloud has to cross-dress and stuff like that. So they're really pumping it full of content. And our boy Rod, who we might be talking about in the future, says that a lot of this is possible due to Advent Children.
Yeah.
It looks like playable Advent Children, which is pretty crazy.
Yep.
But man, the gameplay trailer is something else, and the gameplay looks fun. Like there's cool little like level navigation moments where you can like shimmy around a corner, but there's also like hardcore like Japanese RPG gameplay moments in a way. It's something else, man. It blew me away. That game keeps getting better the more they show it off. I'm very excited.
So the only reason I have reservations about this is because I want the whole game, and it took them so fucking long to give us this.
Sure.
That like, how long
Yeah.
are we gonna wait to finally
Yeah.
fight Genova?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be 2050, and we're gonna
Well,
be
let's
like,
let's pretend they put 1,000 people on it.
Yeah.
Let's pretend they put 1,000 people on it, and they're literally only showing us what we get to play soon, and the rest is all in production.
Yeah, I'd love to believe that, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, does Squeenix have a history of not
Taking forever
fulfilling
for
promises?
games? It took them 8 years to make Kingdom Hearts 3. Nope.
Okay.
It took
That's
them,
because
it took them
yeah.
15 years to make Kingdom Hearts 3.
That was a lot behind the developer, the project guy, like the lead guy. He had a lot of that to take on his shoulders.
I'm just
but,
saying they're super good at letting stuff sit. They haven't,
Yeah,
I guess
they haven't made
but
anything.
everybody was
they haven't made
very
anything-
happy with Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
They weren't.
I mean, they also
Everybody I
love to
talked to was.
they also love to release games, destroy them, and then really release them to critical acclaim.
There you go.
Yeah. thank
Yeah,
you. I was
just-
distracted by Sodium's Google dark mode
That's weird.
picture, but anyway, we'll get back on topic here. Let's go.
No, I don't think I've ever seen Square Enix do something serialized, like release something with relative frequency in the same series. They tend to take their time.
Right.
So we'll see what they do.
I mean, yeah, talking about Plants vs Zombies and Telltale, right? Here's Squeenix doing the same thing,
Right.
releasing this great epic that is Final Fantasy sequentially.
Nah,
So
they're not though. We're not gonna get episode 2. We're gonna pay for Final Fantasy 7 too, and it'll be the next. We're paying 50.
How much?
We're paying 50 or 60. We're paying $60 full price for Midgar, because it's 2
Are we?
Blu-ray discs worth of content.
that's absurd.
Yeah, they went out of their way to make a lot of shit. So
All right, so
who knows?
how infrequently would that have to come out to justify the price tag?
Every other year.
I could deal with that. I could pay $60 every 2 years. Yo,
We'll see.
these
Yeah,
companies
we
gotta be
could as-
thinking long term, right?
Yeah, we could as the guys who have played it, but I think the younger generation who have not played it and are looking to see what us old timers are talking about, that might be a bit of a.
I mean,
don't know
if
if
they
that's the demographic.
restructured the
No, I'm not. I totally agree. It's not
Right.
the demographic. I'm just
Right.
saying there are going to be these people who want to jump in and play it and experience it.
Panda said it was awesome, so
Yeah.
that's cool.
But like,
That's cool, man.
They have to restructure the story if they're going to find a point to stop at Midgar that feels like its own game and not like they're making us wait for the rest of it to be done.
I don't care about that.
You don't,
Honestly,
but like the
I know-
majority of people do.
No, I think the majority of people that want to play this know what's coming. So if they walk out of Midgar into the desert and go, okay, credits, I'll be like, fuck, that's awesome. Like if they just fucking slam credits on us, yeah, dude.
I can deal with that.
Smurf has a real good point in the chat, which I couldn't articulate a second ago. If it wasn't, if they weren't aiming for different demographics, why did they completely change the combat system?
Because they've changed the combat system ever since 7 in every game.
It's never been
in
the same.
iteration. It's never been the same. So they're
But
just
it's a
now-
remake, so they changed it.
why give you the ability to work out with Tifa?
Right. There's lots of new gameplay mechanics. I
I
think
mean, yeah,
I think making it feel new means making it feel new. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have the old school turn-based combat
Why
and
not?
make it feel. I don't know. I just don't think that's possible. They're going the Final Fantasy 15 route where you run around the battlefield, and it's still time-based. Everybody's on a timer, but you get to run around while that timer's counting down. And like the fact that you can still, like, I don't know if you guys watched the trailer or how deep you are into Final Fantasy, but in that trailer they turned you into a frog, which
Yep.
is fucking hardcore Final Fantasy. So like I think it's still gonna feel that way. It's just not 2 rows of people sitting still waiting for timers to count down.
Yeah, it's not a chess match anymore. It's
Right.
More
No, I
that's
completely-
that's
I
gonna be
completely
really hard to
understand that.
look new and cool. So I think they just Final Fantasy 15'd it. Hopefully they didn't go to Final Fantasy 15 because then I won't like it. But yeah.
I don't know. I don't like that we waited so long for a Final Fantasy VII remake game, and then when they finally announce a release date, it's like, oh, it's literally the city you start in, nothing else.
Okay, let's
seems-
just dissect that just for a moment before we move on. Look how big that game is.
How big
That's
what
a
game is?
big ass game. Final Fantasy VII. It came on 3 CDs back in the day. It's a big game, and with like huge. It's a world map, and every spot you stopped had a whole city that was all pre-rendered. It's a big ass game. So if you're gonna it's not just it's not just a re-rendering. It's not just a HD. They're like it's a remake.
Yo,
I
Witcher
want a
3's
Final Fantasy
Witcher
Battle
3's
Royale. Can we get
Witcher
that?
3 is fucking massive, and it took them 5 years.
No.
This game is a remake of an older game that may be big, but wasn't Witcher 3 big. And it's taken them 15 years to give us
I don't
the
think we can
first
quantify
city.
that. To be fair, I don't think we can quantify Witcher 3 versus Final Fantasy 7.
I think the other thing too that Square is worried about is there is expectation that they have to be able to live up to.
Unsurmountable
And
expectation. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's not, the mountain keeps getting taller every
Right.
second that they
Every
show
year.
something. Every time they mention the game or put it out, the world just goes, okay, cool, let's do this. So if they give me a Midgard where I can go into every building and go into every shop and turn everything around, and lift up, play with the world itself and interact with everything, then it's worth the 2 Blu-ray discs worth of data. That
Yeah, I
you're
mean,
getting.
Caleb, imagine a Midgar so, like, a lot of video games don't ever leave the city it's set in anyway. So imagine a Midgar so dense that you're satisfied with what they give you. Imagine that.
But I want to fight Genova again.
I
And
know.
Sephiroth again.
I know,
And I
and I
wanna
want to
see
see
the
Nibble,
cult-
and I want to see Nibelheim burn. But like,
Yeah.
and I want to go into the live stream. But like, honestly, like Midgar is a fucking cool ass setting, and there's a motorcycle scene, and there's an infiltration scene where you're locked in a prison. Like, there's a lot to it. It could be a full game by itself, and then we just have to wait 2 years for the next one.
So
I think
I return
it's
to
potential.
my statement that I hope that they were smart enough to adapt the story to give it a logical end, so that it doesn't just feel like, oh, okay, I gotta wait for any resolution. Like if you
Waiting
wrap
2 years
up-
could really suck.
right.
Right.
And if they give us something that's like, okay, and now we're going out to do the rest of the game that I'm familiar with, but like I don't want to say do what Marvel did with the movies as compared to the comics, and like flex the story a little bit. But if they can do something to give me a reason to be like, fuck, like I feel like I'm done and I'll wait now.
I wonder. So I think the onus is that they don't need to give us a good cliffhanger. I think they need to sprinkle in like, here's what's coming and when. I think they need to
Sure.
let us. They need to. Open the curtain just a little bit and let us see like what's next. So I think between now and March, when the game comes out, maybe that's part of their plan. And that would be good business to me. But what do I know,
Yeah.
right? Just an artist in St. Louis.
All right. Before the last news thing, my last statement on this is I just remembered a couple years ago, Square Enix, the CEO of Square Enix, did say that they had mastered their tools to the point where they can make bigger, better looking games faster than they've ever been able to. Maybe this is a part of that, but who knows? Last
Might be something.
news thing. The short one. IGN gave Borderlands 3 a 9. So
Fantastic.
their quick
They
summary.
just gave
under-
something a 10 like last week, didn't
Joker. They gave Joker a 10.
they? Right. Crazy.
Borderlands 3 sticks to its guns and outdoes itself with an amazing arsenal of weapons Humor and Missions. Excuse me for that hiccup in the middle. They played it on PC, so we'll see. And then Eric, you threw another thing in here that was from IGN that was a focus on.
Yeah,
go for it.
I don't want to. I'm not going to spend too much time here, and we'll throw the link up in the show notes. But it's all the legendary guns that they've found so far, and I just want to read maybe one or two of these.
Please do.
The first one is called the Searing Vigilant Malix Bane. It is a sniper rifle, and if you're familiar with the corporations in the game, it's a dull corporation gun. This creepy-looking sniper rifle can double as a shotgun to shoot a round of flaming shards. But its truer terror lies in its ability to belt out ricocheting sniper rounds that leave a trail of fire, letting you watch the bullets literally fly. The next one I think is even more fun. The Venomous Dauntless Chaos. This assault rifle fires an impressive amount of corrosive bullets a second, with the fun added bonus of causing any corroded enemies to explode in a gooey mess upon death, infecting their friends. And then, hold on, the last one I found, which was way at the end here. Let me just find it. Like, every single one of these, as we were talking, I've been reading the flavor text, has just been like, all right, this is going to be phenomenal. Where did it go? Oh, shit, I'm not going to be able to find it now.
Well,
here it is. The King's Call. Sorry, Ben. The King's Call. This gun text features a reference to Metallica, so the red flavor text, if you're familiar with the Borderlands games, for the King's Call is "Life is ours, we live it our way." Beyond that, you can kill an opponent with this pistol, and it will explode into multiple projectiles that will then track down the nearest enemy to damage them as well. So basically, the bullets burrow inside, kill an enemy, and then come out and try and find more enemies to kill.
Yo, they've got a Doom shotgun replicant in the game.
Yep.
The Speed Loading Hellwalker. Hey, we've got your Doom in my Borderlands.
I was just reading that one.
This replica of the super shotgun from Doom fires shots in a pentagram spread, firing both barrels in one shot with that classic reload action we all know and love.
In a pentagram spread? Fuck yeah.
Yep.
Right. I'm suddenly a lot more interested.
Yeah, dude, it's the gun that launches guns. I'm really interested in that one.
Yeah.
Because everybody that's played with it has been like, it actually launches decent guns if you just need something in a pinch.
Oh, this one, the hazardous sellout. A great pistol with explosively splashing fire or corrosive shots. Its recoil might be bad, but nowhere near as bad as the real catch. You have to listen to Tyrene Calypso mocking you as you shoot.
That's awesome.
Just talking shit the whole time.
I was
The Iridian Fabricator, it's a gun that shoots guns. What's not to love?
Right. The lore of this game is deep, man. I was playing Strafe on stream a few weeks ago, and when you throw a gun and it explodes, somebody in chat, which might have been one of the Dents or Smurf or somebody, said like, "Oh, hey, that's just like whatever, one of the brands from Borderlands." So people know, people know like Dahl and Jacobs. They know the brands of these guns, which is crazy. So good on them for creating such a rich lore. Yeah, that was Dent. There you go.
Dent's in chat saying he's a Jacob guy. it is Tedador, not Torg. I'm a Jacobs Molly Wan user. Big fan of the Molly Wans.
I'm all about TDR. I love the fucking architecture for TDR. Okay.
I think we need a roll.
Yeah, that's it for news. Sarge is like,
news,
thank God.
Yeah, we're not talking about Borderlands all day.
Not all day.
could.
Next week,
That's
though.
next week's
Next week is
episode.
the Borderlands episode. Next week is
The episode
Borderlands
I'm going to be out of town for, so.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Well,
that's all right.
you know,
Son of a beach.
we make it do with what we have.
Yep.
This week's episode, though, I think is going to be interesting. That's why we're doing it. I'm going to start over. This week we're talking about game-life balance, right? So you go to work and you read articles about companies that have... You read these articles about companies building a good work-life balance, right? So that you can like work and be home with your family and stuff like that. But because 4 of us here are content creators, one is an aspiring content creator, and we've been playing games for
Eternity.
Ever.
We have
Since
like a
games
collective,
were created.
We have like a
Pretty much.
collective. We have like a collective like 80, 70 years of experience in games. Ben, you've been playing for 30. Eric's been playing for 30. Ryan and I have been playing
I'd
for
say 8.
20.
I'd say 8 is where I started.
Yeah.
Mega Man 2.
There's 60. Ryan and I have both been playing for 20. That's 100 right there. So like, there's a lot of gaming in this group, and we wanted to talk about what it looks like balancing that with kids, jobs, significant others, pets, family, friends, all that shit. So, Orf. Borf.
Bork. Dogecoin.
What'd you say?
Nothing.
Did you say
go for it.
Dogecoin?
Yes.
Bitcoin.
Dink and Flicko.
Bibbidi bobbidi.
Give me the zoppity.
Anyway.
Who wants to kick us off here?
Yeah, so how do you guys balance life with gaming?
Well, before I had my first kid, just 2 months ago, I think it was more of me and my wife had like a conversation of, you know, what times can we like sacrifice our time together to where we can do certain things, or to where like she can go and do things with her friends and I can hop online and play Xbox with everybody else. And since I was streaming and everything like that, God damn it, Smurf, shut the fuck up. Before you had a kid, Sergeant Sodium never balanced. That's fucked up.
What's
No,
life?
but I discussed with my wife while I was streaming, you know, what days I could do it, and we had a good long talk of, you know, what I would be doing when I'd be streaming and, you know, playing games with all you guys, and then when I would be spending time with her, and I think that worked out really well, getting it all out there instead of trying to come up with like a way of it working just like fluidly. You know, I think having that conversation worked out real well. But before I was dating or anything like that, I just played games nonstop. Like homework, I didn't give a shit about. Like I would do homework about 10 minutes before I turned it in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Dude, we used to play Halo all the time. You'd bring your Xbox to high school, say leave it in your locker, and then come home on the bus with me, and we'd unpack and play all night for like a weekend. Like, Ryan's coming over this weekend, Mom and Dad. Like, okay. And then he'd come over Friday and stay until Sunday, and I don't think we ever went to school together on Monday because parents were like, you got to be home, it's a school night. But we damn near almost did.
yeah.
Adorable.
I like the shut up. I like the path you just took describing that. Like, in answering this question, kind of walk through how it's evolved from the beginning, Eric and Ben and Jordan.
Oh, I'm old. I've got a pretty detailed description of.
Hold on, I want to set the time frame here. What's the beginning?
When you first had to think about balancing other responsibilities with games, not from like as a kid. I don't want you to start.
I was like,
well, when I was
well,
8, I would come down for breakfast. And...
The universe exploded billions and billions of years ago.
Billions and billions of years. So, yeah, I would say before my I would say most of my life, I would just play whenever I wanted. There was no balance. You know, I would never put it above a date, though. I could tell you that. If somebody said, you know, if I had a girlfriend at the time, right, games come after. I was always very good at that. So as an adult, when I wanted to start doing art, I let this rule for myself. I said not before 10 p.m. And that lasted for about 10 years, and then Mom started to play really heavy, so I would take 2 hours in the middle of the day to play with Mom. That was last year and the year before.
And then she started playing so heavily, she started staying up till 3 in the morning. So you
right.
didn't have to
and I was like, I can't do that anymore. So
This is when you get to tell your mom that she can't play games as much, okay? Mom, you have to stop.
We have to have a talk.
Got to go outside and play. Go
Get
throw
some
a stick
sun.
against a tree.
Get some sun.
So I've reinforced the before 10 p.m. rule, and now, you know, it sort of all gravitates around there. The gal gets home, we eat dinner, we watch TV. Sometimes she's done with me by 10. It's like, okay, go play. I want to watch my own shows. Sometimes we're like deep into.
Done with you.
Yeah. Sometimes we're deep into like a good place, and we just want to keep watching. So I'll watch before, you know, until whatever. It's a good organic breaking place. So it's pretty strange now. But so now it's even more complicated because I'm trying to re-kickstart this Sketch Sawyer media brand, and then Caleb and I are working pretty heavy on this NerdyBits thing, and so
Yeah,
I've
just
got a
you
lot.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
Ben froze. He was like,
And so that's only for the viewers.
"No, man,
Anybody
it's
listening
not
to
gonna
this is
translate to audio." at all."
nope. Sorry. Tune in live next week. Anyway, so now that whoever's going to get involved from now into the future is working on all this stuff after hours, it's not quite okay. Now it's 10 o'clock. I can game now. It just doesn't work that way. But it is interesting that it's evolving because we're getting review code. So now that's I've got to do that instead of play. And I know that I meant to mention this in our meeting, but to the public, I say that as journalists, as we're all aspiring to be, playing for fun is going to start to wane a little bit, right? Because we're going to have to play what people want to hear from us, and that's going to leak into our fun time. So anyway,
And someday
now,
we'll get lucky enough to play shit that we love. For
Nah,
review, right?
yeah,
Like,
that's always going to be in there. But
Yeah.
as 2019 leaks into 2020, it's always going to be a balance of I'm going to take a few hours off, play some Sea of Thieves, get back to work, and now I've got to play 3 hours of Falcon Age because we have a review coming, and I'm still getting to play games, but it's all very strange and tenuous right now. And granted, it's all games and it's all reviews and it's all putting videos together. But anyway, so that's where I'm at.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I think I've shared a similar path with you, Ben. I'll share an anecdote from the beginning. So, for those of you who don't know and are listening on the podcast or maybe new, my wife and I have been together since we were 16, right? So if you'd think that I'm 38 now. So
Yeah, I've been with my gal for like 12, 13 years too.
Yeah, Melissa and I have been dating and together for 22 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
If you think about the length of time, I've known Melissa and been with her for longer than most people are even married. You even think about that these days, which is crazy.
Since before he was born.
Yeah. So my point there is so she kind of grew up knowing that I played video games, and when we graduated from college and we moved in together, or actually bought our first house in Austin. We lived together for a while in college. I was helping run a very large, very successful Final Fantasy XI guild, and that's where video games kind of finally boiled over for her, is because it was come home because for those of you who don't know Final Fantasy and WoW Classic, there was no casual MMO back in the early 2000s. It was
8-hour raids.
You're grinding. Yep, exactly. You're fucking playing these things for 8 hours, and it's every night would start at 6 p.m. Central Time. I'd get home, we'd eat dinner, I'd be upstairs on the Xbox, running these raids, running these things, getting the guild shit in order, posting the loot to either sell it, to build up the loot bank or whatnot. And finally got to the point where we were on a walk one day, and she just looked at me and she goes, "Look, we've been together for a long time, but if you don't quit this shit, I'm gone." And I was like, "Oh." So then, funny story of how that was.
Out back with a gun,
Yeah.
or-
No. She's like, I can't handle the video games. It's either the video games or me at this point. So much like,
Can I dissect that real quick before you
Yeah.
roll? How did that immediately strike you when she said that?
I was flabbergasted because it was not we never had that conversation before. It never, it was always like kind of, okay, cool, I'm going to go watch my shows and I'm going to go upstairs and play video games.
Right.
But it had gotten to the point with her, where, Melissa will sometimes keep things in and not tell you, what immediately she's feeling. I think we're all guilty of that as humans sometimes, because we want to see our
I kind of want
partners.
some more of that back. I think people are sharing too much, but anyway, that's a different.
Well,
topic.
this was 2000. This was 2005, 2006, right? Is when this happened. This is not last week. Be a different conversation if it was last week.
So how long did it take you to?
Oh no, I
stop being
immediately
flabbergasted to be like, oh, she's got a point.
No, I looked at her and I said, "Oh, okay, cool. I didn't realize you feel that way." And the funny close to that story is I immediately went home and then got on a Gil selling website. Gil is the currency in Final Fantasy. Posted my character, sold it for a lot of money. Told nobody.
I'm not satisfied with a lot.
It's 5,500.
You played a lot, homie.
A lot. The Gil seller who bought it probably turned around and made 4 times that because I had 9 characters that all had max money on them with all legendary. Yeah, it was.
Wow.
So yeah, it was
He
a
needed
lot.
the quick sell to get out.
And this is why people grind.
Yeah.
On if they have no life, they grind and sell in virtual items because that's a lot of money.
I told them. I told nobody about it, and somebody sent me a text and said, "Hey, why are you selling off all the guild money?" And I just said, "Oh, this was one of the other leaders." I was like, "Oh no, I quit and sold my account. Sorry."
You're learning right now.
And that was the only way I was able to do it. Right, is I had to literally just cut the arm off, or the whole body was going to get infected. And
so there
now
was no transition. It was just she said it and you went, okay.
Yeah, she said it. I went home, and this was going back to your point about you never gave up for a date, Ben. I mean,
it just didn't feel as important. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
If I'm in the middle of a match, I'll be like, give me a minute and a half, and we'll go out to eat.
Yeah, I was not willing
But it was
to
not
sacrifice
like one more game.
Yeah, I was not willing to sacrifice my marriage to the woman I met, when I was 16 and have been enamored with and still am enamored with to this day, for a video game, and I'm still that way. That's why I'm very upfront with my schedule. You guys know it. If it's a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I'm probably not. I'm leaving my office and turning everything off, and that's the end of it. And I don't play. I don't talk about it. It's getting interesting now with the kids because my oldest kid is.
Smurf's giving you mad heat right now.
Yeah. I told nobody. It was a super D move. They were not happy with me. I don't care. Never met any of them. They might live. For all I know,
Jesus, Smurf, it was 10 years ago. Water under the bridge already.
There's a listener in our group of listeners who's going to listen to this podcast on Friday as we're telling the story and be like, that's a lot like what my... Holy shit. And then
I found you, you son of a bitch. You ruined my life. No more juggernaut axes at 4 a.m. That's a totally different story for a different day. But yeah, so now it's getting interesting with the two kids, the 5-year-old boy more so, because all he wants to play is Arkham Knight because he downloaded it. And he's actually freakishly good at it, which is the 5-year-old manipulating Batman.
Yeah, all you got to look out for are those little parry.
Yep, he gets it. It's like he understands the tap of the X, and he's starting to get the rhythm, and he sees the lightning bolts, and he hits Y, and then he's like, oh, I got to see red. Now I got to hit B so I can get out of the way. And it's really fun to watch him get really happy. And then with my older daughter, it's a totally different thing. And I've told the story 1,000 times on here, but she looks at the game mechanics on what's happening and why all the systems are interacting with things like that. So it's becoming more of a thing. And my poor wife is like, oh, now I have to. Can we get
4 of you.
Can we get a Nintendo? It's something I can play.
Friend of the show, Bastard Bob, had one of his youngins. He's got 2 very young kids in his family. Watching him play Elite Dangerous, which is one of the most complicated games on the planet. He was docking or something like that, and the kid's just like, I think I could learn that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, more power to you, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun to watch and see, but yeah, there's a lot of balance because I'm finding out with my 5-year-old boy, like sometimes he just will throw a shit fit when I say it's time to turn it off.
Sure.
And the inside of me is like,
relatable
oh man,
content.
He's almost at the last stage. He's so close to beating it, and then I got to look at him, and then the adult side of me kicks in and goes, "Nope, it's a school night. He's got to get to bed, or the teacher's gonna have hell to pay tomorrow, and I can't deal with that." So,
Sure.
I mean, that's how we had it when we were younger, though. Like, you had to just stop whenever your parents came in and said something. So like, then you get to really like love those games more because you think about it like, oh my God, it's like the last level. Tomorrow I gotta get home from school and I gotta go play. Yeah, I get my homework done so I can play that game.
see, it was weird for me because I didn't have those parents. My parents were very loosey-goosey about, okay, as long as you come home, your homework's done, you get home from practice, you shower, we don't give a shit. And there were many a nights where I was in middle school, high school, and my mom's coming in at 6 a.m. and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what time it is, and I've got to go to school the next day because I've been up just trying to grind levels all night.
So how many people here can relate to this story of being in the middle of something on Final Fantasy and seeing a save point and your parent walking in and being like, I gotta get to a save point, and walking the other way so that they don't see it, so that you can play for another like 10 minutes? How many people did that?
No, that's ultra specific, and no.
So there's got to be
game, but
somebody
I've
else
done-
here
I've
who's
done
done
that.
that. Okay.
I would turn the TV
I'm
off.
almost
and then,
done. I gotta finish this level.
I gotta get to a
just
save
started
point.
new
I gotta get to a
level.
save point.
I think we have a very unique situation now as we are on episode 60, which I've not been a part of most, but we have a 19-year-old in the group that can tell us how he balances life and video games. For the first time in this podcast, after 40 minutes, Jordan Jones, everybody. How do you balance?
Thank you.
How do you balance life and video games?
Like as I think of it, like I don't know, like I started playing video games and stuff. Was kind of like I don't know, watching Caleb play and stuff. Like I would sit there and like watch him play like Final Fantasy or something, and be like, hey, can we play a game together? And like 2 years later, we'll probably play a game together. But
Well,
I honestly
pretty
like,
long
really,
history of me bringing Halo over to your house, though.
Yeah, Halo. Yeah, Halo. Like I really got into
Street Fighter,
Street Fighter also.
right?
Fuck five.
so let me
I can't help
rephrase.
but think we did some DDR too. We did some DDR at some point.
Had to have. Let me rephrase
Yes,
your
you did,
question.
absolutely.
Probably.
Though, Ben, real quick for Jordan. So how do you find, like, just graduating high school, fighting that? Because I remember when I just graduated high school that first summer, like I didn't do anything. What are you doing to find that balance of, all right, I got to work, I got to earn some coin, and I just want to sit around and play games all day.
Yeah. So pretty much like I work every day almost, and then like as soon as I'm off like the shift, I come home and literally turn on the system and just start playing a game. And like sometimes like I'll stream or something, but like it's not like I don't have like the gear or something. So I'm sitting here like I'll do random fills or something on like Fortnite and like just do stupid like goofy voices and stuff, and then like find out like people in like the game chat and stuff, like you're talking to them, but like they can't hear you on the stream. So I'm sitting here talking to myself pretty much on the stream. Well, like everybody is just like, bro, you're talking to yourself, bro.
We can fix that.
Yeah.
So then,
That's easy to
So,
fix.
so there's been a few times over the last few weeks where we're trying to play something together, but you're out with your friends. So
Yeah.
if you're 3 hours deep into Fortnite and your friends say, hey, let's go out to a movie, do you say, yeah, hell yeah, movie, or do you go, I'm deep in this Fortnite?
Answer this honestly. Answer this
honestly.
motherfucker.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, I honestly like would go like to like the movie and stuff. So like,
Okay.
if it's a movie, I'm down. Like, or if it's like basketball, or like going to the Y and like
Yeah.
playing basketball and then like lifting weights and then get back at like 9 or whatever.
Right.
And
Well,
then
video
just,
games will always be there for you, so take
yeah.
advantage of going to the movie and lifting weights.
Yeah, of
So
course.
yeah, for real. Nice.
Well, we know what he does like relationship wise. I mean, I think there was one night he was playing on Xbox, and we could hear his girlfriend on speakerphone in the background, and he was playing for like 3 hours, and she was sitting on the phone talking.
Yeah, well.
Multitasking,
So I was
man.
like, oh my god, dude. And like he'd go like 20 minutes without saying anything. Be like, yeah, you still there? And like, oh shit. Oh, it was so funny, man. I was like, I
good
can't. My wife would kill me back then whenever we were dating. She'd be like, for real, you're playing games right now? Like, no, I'm not.
You never had a time where you were on the phone with your girl not saying anything just because you wanted to be on the phone with each other?
I can't walk and chew gum at the same time, so I'd be fucked. Melissa always she always knows when she'll call me in the afternoon, like after she picks up one of the kids from school, or she's swinging by someplace to get a drink and ask if I want something, and she can always tell, because it'll be like, hey, what are you doing? You guys can't see for the radio. I just did a slack-jawed look for the radio audience. Even Smurf knows when he calls, he can tell when I'm playing a game, because the second something happens in the game, all focus goes there and all systems divert to my hands, mental power to the game, and everything else just shuts down completely.
You just hit it. You say a bunch of yeahs and yep.
I'm like, yep,
yeah,
I remember
What are you doing? Yeah.
once upon a time.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Once upon a time, I was single, and it was one of those first phone calls. And she asked what I was doing. I said I was playing Grand Theft Auto, and she laughed. And I had to explain
We
that,
never
yes,
talked again.
I still play video games. Yeah, we never had a second date. So, yeah. I just wanted to share that with you.
Oh, shit, I thought this was the meeting of Kim.
I thought this was Kim.
No.
Oh, that's sad. Sorry,
oh, my
man.
God, that's awful. I'm playing.
I mean, I
games.
just figured like, oh, games are funny. Okay, peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least you ended it quickly. You know,
Right.
got out of that shit before it got dicey.
I have to tell you about comics and video games that this isn't gonna work.
Yeah, no.
Yep, that was me and Amanda for baseball and video games. Like if I had to sit down and explain the rules of baseball to somebody, I would nah.
See it.
But when she was like, "I really like how yachty," I'm like, "Oh, cool, this is gonna
Right.
work."
Yeah, I had to do that. And see, I had to give everybody kind of a little bit of leeway in Texas with lacrosse because they were all like, "What the fuck is this
Fucking
sport?"
preppy ass sport. I don't know why.
What
they
is
don't
this
It's a
want
little
shit?
bit
New
more
Yorkers.
niche than video games. Don't you
Right. Yeah, but it
Out
was
of Boston.
Yeah.
totally. But yeah, it was very much like even my football coach in high school like didn't know what it was, and then when I was gonna quit football to play lacrosse, he was like, "Nah, you're a pussy." And I said, "Okay, bye, coach. I'm gonna go play this thing I've been doing since I was 4."
Hey, coach,
Not-
eat my whole butt.
Yep, here it is. Yeah, it was a really awkward moment freshman year in high school. So anyway,
So for me to answer this question, so we can move on to the second question. It's gonna take another 20 minutes. I started playing games when I was super young, like everybody else here, but I didn't start like running into actual issues until like college because and Jordan can corroborate this, my parents were less than savvy with us owning systems. Ben bought us a PS2 for Christmas in 2005. 2004.
Me.
No, not even. It had
Me,
to have
Ben.
been. Yes,
Just Ben.
Ben over here,
Yes.
Sketch Sawyer. Bought me and my 3 brothers a PS2 for Christmas in like 2002. Had to have been before 2005 because the Xbox was not yet. And my parents have just bought us a bunch of PlayStation games, and they thought that because he bought us a PS2 games, we wouldn't play the games they just bought.
Well,
And they
it,
didn't.
it went deeper than that because I told him swiftly that's not the case. It was the ego thing.
Well,
That
this
I
is,
bought you a $300 system and they bought you a bunch of $10 games. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
So
And so the short of the story is they made us give it back
yeah.
that day. We didn't even go home with it. And then like a couple weeks later, we got it back because Ben wore them down. But what that meant was I didn't
My speciality.
own. Yes. What that meant was I didn't own a system again until I didn't get a newer system until my buddy Matt, who was my best friend through elementary school, moved to New Hampshire. And his
Matt Stone, co-creator of South Park.
Yes. And he gave me his Xbox 360 on the way up north to New Hampshire. Because he was like, my brother has a PS3, I won't need it. Which, like, that's not how that works.
oh, that's sad.
Yeah,
So
that's
it
not how that
wasn't
works.
even his.
Yeah,
That was unfortunate for him.
yeah. And so I inherited an Xbox in, like, 2009. And the first game I played on it
And what was your gamer tag?
Death Angel 54. And the E's and
Oh,
A's were 3s and 4s.
Yeah, in
Yes.
speak. Yeah.
Yes, they were.
And I remember in 2012 when I changed to LubWeb, the one you know and love, I had a moment before I went to Ben and went, we need to change this, where we were playing Halo and people kept fucking calling me Angel. And I was like, I hate this. I
We
hate
were
this.
so
I hate
deep
this.
into
I hate
dubstep
this.
at that point. Love Wolf just kind of came out of us, but
Yeah.
I kind of wish you held on to Death Angel in some degree.
Damn it, Angel!
Hey, Angel, can you come revive me?
We were
Oh my god, the sign off and intros for this show would be so much better if your name was Death Angel. Hey guys, what's up? This is Death Angel coming in for the NerdyBits bounty board. Fuck.
yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. So we were at the grocery
Heavy
store
metal-
the other day, and there was a
Be Death
BMW with a
and
license plate, Hyrulean, but the A was a number 4.
Yikes.
And I was trying to rationalize how that could be anything but Zelda. But then after 30 feet of walking and trying to rationalize it with Kim, I was like, hold up. That A was a number 4. That's absolutely a Zelda reference. It has to be.
Yeah.
It's
Gotta be.
elite speak, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway.
So when I went to college, the first time I interacted with game life balance was when I was trying to learn like all of the balances that come with going away to college. Of like, my parents aren't going to wake me up. 1, I don't have to go to class if I don't want to. 2, I don't have to do anything but play games if I don't want to. And so like, there were probably a few years in college where I played a little more than I should. Like Xbox was, or Raptor. Y'all remember the website Raptor? Raptor would send, if you were a member of Raptor, it would track all your gameplay. And at the end of the year, they'd send you like a trophy sheet of what you'd done. And one year I'd played like 18 or 1900 hours of games and like 600 hours of Battlefield, and I was like, I might have a problem. And then I quit playing baseball, and I didn't know what to do. And Ben was like, you like writing? You like playing games? Why don't you write about games? And so 2012, I moved down to St. Louis for the summer and started writing for a bunch of little indie blogs and wrote about like 60 pieces in 5 months. And then the last 2 months I fell off a lot because of college, and then we launched NerdyBits. And so since then, on and off, like right away it was like, oh, I run a blog, I gotta do all this stuff. But more so after college, like that learning to balance like wanting to put stuff out for this and like reviews and writing things and wanting to podcast and playing games, not just to play them but to have something to say about them, so that like we could stay relevant on the podcast, or so I could write a thing about it or something like that. Like that has become a big conversation piece in my household, because my wife and I, like, a few months ago she stopped being a fitness coach through Beachbody, but like for a while she was trying to launch her own business as a fitness coach. I was trying to launch my own business as a journalist and blogger with NerdyBits, and so we had decided, like, okay, like 2 nights out of the week you don't get me at home as a parent, because I have to dedicate that to this, and like 2 nights out of the week you get that as well, and then like the rest of the nights we hang out, right? And so like
It's still 3 nights. I think that's pretty good.
yeah, and it
My
ended
gut
up,
tells me 3 nights is good, but
and it ended up being like we would share a night, like we would basically take one of the nights and cut it down in half by working together to get Charlie in bed, and then as soon as she went to bed at like 7 o'clock, it was like, cool, we're gonna go work on our shit, and then we'd go to bed when we went to bed. And that like was always flexible. We always had, like, she would get a migraine and be like, I can't. I'd be like, cool, that's fine. I was never so ingrained in doing stuff for this that I was like, can't do it. But now we've got review code, like Ben was saying. Ben and I, or my grandma and I,
interviews
traveled to
with
Chicago.
international business people.
My grandma and I traveled to Chicago in early
Right.
August for a thing, and
You showed up and people knew who you were.
Yeah,
I'm going to St. Louis for an entire weekend and leaving my wife with a newborn
Yep,
child.
the three of us are gonna go to Pixel Press this weekend.
That show
Pixel
could be a
Pop.
good deal. You got
Yeah. So like I think it'll only become more of a topic in the way we interact with things, and I think that like as we start streaming more and more, we'll start figuring that stuff out. So like, Eric, you didn't talk about streaming much. How did streaming kind of weigh into the dynamic of your household?
I think it was a natural progression of my video game time, and what I do in my office with my video game time is my time. So the only thing they ask me not to do is play Twitch Sings.
Did they really? Is that why you haven't done it since the last time?
No, there's just no new songs I really want to sing.
Okay.
that's a lot
He's
less
self-conscious
interesting.
now.
No, definitely not. No. There will be an encore's coming. I feel it brewing. There's just too much shit out to play right now.
Just get Rock Band and just use the microphone.
Yeah.
You can play all those
No,
old songs.
it's not fun. I want Twitch Sings. I want to get Ben on Twitch Sings. Do some duets. That's what I really want.
Yes.
That's what we really need to do to make
A few
this
more
happen.
of these and it might
There-
happen.
There we go.
Too, man.
There we go. Perfect. Jordan, make it happen.
Jordan says he can sing. I've never heard him do it though.
Dent has seen it. They've witnessed it.
Yo, I've seen it, and when I saw
It
it,
was-
I jumped into our group chat and was like,
I know
"Everybody,
you
follow this fucking link right now."
That was the very first one. No, yeah, it's interesting. I think it's just open lines of communication, right? If it'll change a little bit in January when the new baby gets here. I'll have to adjust and figure out, how we're gonna make it work like that. But right now it works out great. It's everybody goes to bed. I go play video games a couple nights a week. And it's fine. A lot of the shows Melissa watches during those times are the Real Housewife shows, which I'm not.
the ones you don't want to get. You want to get into.
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch them because it's like driving by a car wreck. You can't help but look.
So dark.
The The only one I like to watch is the Dallas one because I went to high school with one of the characters on the show. So that's fun, I guess, to watch her on TV. But you know,
there's a character in a lawyer show that went to Southeast.
Yeah,
that Amanda watches. Went to our high school. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, the only one I really watch religiously with Melissa is Vanderpump Rules because that show is just, oh god, it's so fake awesome. It's just terribly good. I just can't handle it. It's just awful.
I watched SWAT with my wife because she's got a thing for the black guy from what's that show that he was on? CSI?
No, Criminal Minds.
Criminal Minds. Yeah, she's got a thing for him, and he left to do his own show.
Who's on
SWAT? It's a new show. It's the black guy from Criminal Minds.
It's Morgan from Criminal Minds.
You said it's Morgan Freeman.
No, Morgan from Criminal Minds.
I thought he said Morgan.
Morgan Freeman as a SWAT captain would be
All right.
Kicking indoors.
Oh, Shamar Moore.
Shamar Moore.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the actor's name. I kept wanting to say Morris Chestnut, and I was like, that's not right at all.
Lamar something.
Smurf said Lamar something.
Damn it.
Damn it, dude. But when... So, okay.
I think when it boils down to everything, at least for relationship-wise, I think the best advice out there is to just talk about it.
Yeah.
Like don't just assume that somebody's going to be okay with you doing, like, honestly, just doing whatever you're doing. Like, if you have a hobby, just talk about that shit, and that's what this is for us. Hobby, like, video games.
The brain's
are
going to
hobbies.
some weird places with this.
Ben's like,
Just
yeah,
talk about it.
if you like killing squirrels with
I think
butter knives.
And making
We have
chicken
a slightly different view of all this, where we went from just playing Halo with our friends to streaming, which is a whole other beast. Which is like hardware and lighting and maybe a different persona if you're a deadbeat,
hobby.
or like but it not many people get into streaming for it to be a hobby, but for it to maybe be a supplemental income, or to be, for some people to be their primary source of income. So, and then as we try to do this NerdyBits thing, that's something different completely, where it's not just gaming anymore. Like, we've got to step away from our other lives. This is a side hustle, right? We have to plan time to edit stuff and do interviews and write things and shoot stuff that's, I would rather be playing, Warframe every hour of the day, but like we've got to play stuff that people want to, the grind. But like it's evolving from, the conversation takes us from how do you take time away from your loved ones to do your hobby, to play games while they're watching Vanderpump and you want to play Call of Duty. That's one thing. But now it's all about, I think there's a lot to talk about when it comes to side hustle, if you want to talk about that. But like,
Nah, I don't.
Hey,
I'm
Smurf, I
sorry.
don't think anybody likes Warframe.
I tried playing Warframe, but like, nah, I just
Real quick, mark the tape. It was an hour and 13 minutes this week
that didn't say hell.
before we
I
got
was
to
like,
it.
why am I marking the tape? Oh,
I'm sorry, Ben. I can't.
I need to get an animation I can play that's like a fucking Warframe fanfare. So when he brings it up, I can like, his face is highlighted and shit.
like the magic word in Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah, it's just like a Tenno just appears over his shoulder, like blinking.
Hey, good word usage. I appreciate that.
See, I know what they are. I just can't. There's just, like I said, Ben. There's just too much content to get into that game right now. It's just
Warframe is an acquired taste. Is
it's
literally the best description of that game.
very much, very much.
Every game is.
Yeah, so I think to expand on what you were saying a little bit, Ben, I think it's a conversation, because you're right. It's not, when I come in here and play video games, it was a little bit different when I wasn't streaming. But when we built this house 5 years ago, this office was always going to be a space where I can start streaming, because I had started streaming at our old house, and I was in the living room, and there was a night where the thing that Amaranth just got banned for happened, on stream. And if you guys don't know who Amaranth is, go Google it. But anyway, my wife walked in front of the camera right after she had gotten out of the shower before we had kids, and that didn't go over well. So I was like, all right, we got to stop this shit.
No.
It didn't go over well, or it went over too well?
No, it didn't go over well with her.
Yeah, no,
so
I
that was
imagine that it would.
that didn't go great. So we then I nixed it, and then so that's what this office was built around, was the ability for me to come in here and go live. But yeah, it definitely well, there had to be one viewer for it to go anywhere. Smurf to put to do that one. No banhammer, luckily. But yeah, it's a weird thing, because you're right. I do, when I'm in my stream, there's a different side of my personality that comes out 100%.
Sure, sure.
And the headphones are on, and you guys have all watched my stream, so you watch.
Yeah, we'd much rather just sit here and just go homeworld and click strategy, die, respawn. But with the camera on, we're like, oh boy, let's try that again. You know.
Yep.
Yeah. Some of the best streams I've had too have been streams where like there's no inherent value to the conversation as it pertains to the game. Like I had one of my first streams where I had like 20 people in it. I was playing Astroneer, and I was literally like stocking up supplies to go on like as far as I could go and get as much stuff and then come all the way back. And it was like a 2-hour trip, and the whole time I was talking about like loneliness and like it was really great, and people that were there were just having fun talking about this thing while experiencing it on a lonely planet, and like it was really good. It was really good. But as we transition into bounties, the way we wrap our show up with, I wanted to ask, and I want Jordan to start with this, because most of us kind of have an idea, I think, more prepared.
Jordan's going to start with this one. Interesting. Okay.
But you're 19, right? And like you're in one of the most like opportune times for games. I think there have been several of these, like in the 70s, 80s, getting in, right? In the early 90s, 2000s was another like getting in, but these were both on the developmental side. And now we're in a big window in gaming where young people and people that are good at and love playing a specific thing have the opportunity to turn that into something that makes them money, right? And like a kid that was 16 just won like $3 million playing
Fortnite World Cup.
Yeah.
Booga.
See, look, like you already
Booga.
know the kid's name. You know the kid's name.
Booga.
So, like, what do you want to see gaming become for you in the future? Like, do you have goals in games, and how do you want to balance that with your career goals, or is it a career goal?
That's a good point. Honestly, like, I mean, gaming is different. Like, like, my high school had it, like we had an EA Sports and stuff, you know. Like, I had friends, like, talking to me, like, oh, dude, you should definitely try out for, like, the Fortnite. It was, like Rocket League. There was, like, a whole bunch of other games, though.
Teams?
A whole bunch of esports games. Like, yeah, it's cool. Like, other schools had it, too. And, like, you know, it's just competitive. And, like,
That's
it was
crazy.
super cool.
I don't even know how I would handle that in my high school years. I don't even know how I would process that opportunity to play a game for my school. I would lose my mind.
Like, pretty much, like, everybody lost their minds. Like, we heard it over, like, the intercom. They're like, oh, and there's going to be tryouts for, you know, EA Sports. You know, there's 2K, there's Fortnite. And people are like, oh, my God, let's go. We got to do this. Yeah, so it's, like, I'm literally in class, like, okay, that's cool and all. But, like, I mean, they're hyping it up. But it was kind of cool.
So how do you see games changing for you in the future? Like, what do you want to do with games?
Honestly, like, with games, like, I don't know, I want to see it, like, more, like, realistic, and also, like, you know, like, I think it would be cool, like, you know,
in your life.
What do you want to do in games?
Do you want to keep it a hobby, or do you want to take it somewhere?
You want to be a streamer? Do you want to develop games? Do you want to voice act in games? What do you want to do with games around your life?
I want to voice act and also play games.
Do you want to play games on stream?
You want to play games professionally, or you just want to chill and play?
Chill and play.
I mean,
Okay,
if you guys want
so-
to force him to stream, I guess that we can just keep.
That's why I was asking. That's why I angled the question that direction. I think he'd rather be a hobbyist than
So,
a
do you want to
professional.
stream or stream?
Also,
To make money or not play at all?
Also, I do want to point out what Smurf just said. Smurf just pointed out, like, it's interesting that a person that qualifies as being in the younger audience is concerned about realism in games. Like, Jordan's first thing he just went to was like, I want to see him get more realistic. Yeah. And, like, that's one of the arguments you hear people
You can
say.
play
like,
games that aren't Fortnite. That's a start.
Okay, Ben. Really? Okay.
We've got
Okay.
salt for Warframe, so Ben's gonna have a little salt for something. So for the rest of us, where do you see games going in the future? Where do you want to see games go with your lives in the future? And do you ever see yourself pulling out, stopping, not playing games anymore?
More
Guys,
more-
pulling out means more things than sex.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah. Pull out method. Here we go.
Oh my god.
I will never stop playing games because why? And who are? How dare you for asking?
First of all, how
No.
dare you?
Yes.
I have many questions. First off, how dare you?
Yeah. Who do you think you are?
Think you're better than
I'm little behind the scenes. I'm getting. I used to review video games in the aughts. I used to work for a magazine and did some press junkets and shit like that. So working with you guys has sort of sparked this deep Sawyer lore that was buried and gone.
Yeah, dude.
So that's pretty interesting. So digging all this up and voicing my opinion on a medium that I've obsessed over for 30 years is deeply cathartic and amazing. So the fact that somebody says, hey, we like this thing that Caleb has built, this NerdyBits thing, and says, here, have a code, play this, and tell us what you think, is pretty fucking cool. So that's deeply awesome. So that's where I see, like, gaming's going to be a forever hobby, but to have my voice thrown into the ether as an opinion on this medium is deeply enriching. So that's where I am.
Dope.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I asked it is because, like, kind of recently I've had this thought of, like, as things ramp up for holiday, or as, you know, things ramp up for E3 and whatever the event is that makes gaming more, not complex, more busy, I have small moments where I'm like, man, I'd like for this to move back into just, like, I play games for fun. I don't think
Yeah.
that's anytime soon, right?
Well, I think if NerdyBits is trying to be what you want it to be, then that gaming as a hobby is going to get is going to get smaller and smaller. And I don't mean to speak too
For now.
too meta to everybody, to our audience and stuff like that, but yeah, I think I don't know.
There's also the thing that, like,
That's an aspect.
I'm also looking forward to seeing it become a thing where it becomes our jobs, and I can play for review and for content during the day, and then come home at night and have no obligation to play anything but Rocket League with Ryan, or some Warframe with you and Nan, or whatever it is that Eric and I want to get up to. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I look forward to, is getting
It's a balance to aim for.
Yeah, that's what I want to see, right? That's what I want my career to angle towards in a way. Eric, Ryan, anything to add?
No, I mean, gaming's always going to be just part. It's been a part of my life. It's what corrected my vision when I was so young. You know, I was prescribed a Nintendo to fix with my eye tracking problem, so it's always going to be a part of my life. Yeah, I've had crunchy doctors my entire life, and that was the first thing.
Crunchy doctors.
Please explain.
First doctor.
If that's not a
Wellness-
.com already, somebody buy that.
Wellness practitioners that tend to look at more homeopathic and naturopathic type of stuff.
Crunchy doctors.
So, but yeah, that was one of the first things. It was like, why don't you get your son one of these things and see if that helps out strengthen the muscles around his eyes? And lo and behold, it did. Yeah, so I think they're always going to be a part of my life. I'm with you, Caleb. If we can get this thing to the point where I get to get up in the morning and I may not be doing the reviews or producing content at that point. I may be running the business side of it, which, you know, is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be awesome. And then I have no obligation to do anything but what we want to do. I think it's awesome. So they're
Quick
never going
side story
away.
before we let Ryan unfold. My mom often tells a story. They bought me a Nintendo. They gave me, trying to think of my first games, Mega Man 2 was definitely one of them. And they would never stop me from playing. They just thought I would just naturally want to stop. Like, I would just get tired of it and move on. So, yeah,
And now she plays.
Yep.
And now she plays. I need to make her play Mega Man 2. Complete the circle.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Well, if you do
Yeah.
that, Ben, the universe will collapse in on itself.
Oh, your
And-
Discord cut out. Repeat that?
If you make her do that, the universe will collapse in on itself.
Oh, cool. Well, all right. Whenever I'm really tired of it all, I'll
like
make my
meeting-
mom play Mega Man 2.
It's like
Sorry,
Ryan's-
everybody. It's been swell.
Yeah.
it's like
Alright,
meeting
fine,
yourself in Time Cop.
Ryan, before you go, your dog is creeping me the fuck out. Go on.
He is. He's
just
about
looking
to
at
be
the
abducted or something. He was.
His
just
dog
like,
was just
"What?"
staring at the ceiling a second ago, and now I occasionally will see his eye. Look at it! He's fucking. Ah!
Hey, for the record, we don't know if dogs can see infrared or ultraviolet, so that whole they're looking at ghosts thing might actually just be right. Yeah.
Ghosts might actually be ghosts.
Like,
Yeah.
is that
No,
Charlene?
no, the opposite of that.
No, Ben, they might be looking at ghosts. Ryan,
Okay.
tell us your future goals.
My
Tell us
future
your
goals
past
is
goals.
to I didn't have any. No, future goals. I'm gonna keep playing games because I really want to teach my daughter to how to play games and let her know that girls can be a part of games, and I think that's like a big thing going on right now. Is like a lot of people don't realize that girls can be a part of games, and my parents didn't let us start off at that young of an age. I mean, we got an N64, but they let us play for like 20 minutes at a time, that kind of thing. But like, I want to be able to be like, you know what, this shit's really good for hand-eye coordination. This shit's like really good, like just to get you to learn, and it's a good hobby to get into. It's something fun that you can do with friends and family. So that's one reason why I never want to get out of
I'm sorry.
playing games. But there's some streamers out there now that like they play with their kids on like Super Smash Brothers and things like that on live stream. And I was like, I think that's really cool, and I would like to get to that point where I'm streaming and my kid's old enough that we can sit and play games together and entertain people. So I think streaming is one of the main goals that I want to continue to do, and be a part of NerdyBits and build all of this up together. So I think that's end result right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I hope society doesn't collapse before then. That would be great.
Well, as long as you don't let Nan play Mega Man 2, we'll be good.
Okay, that's not society. That's the Ultraverse.
Well, I think that would take society with it, believe it or not.
Maybe.
We wrap up our show, ladies and gentlemen, with our bounties, which I don't know why I just grabbed my karambit for that.
One of you is going to die.
I was sitting there pointing. And then,
One of you is actually my bounty this week.
Watch as I devour my younger kid's blood.
I can do this too. I can pick up mine too if you want. We could do Karambit.
we
Do we all
Karambit.
get
we
one?
can do a karambit dance?
Karambit Brothers.
I have no weapons in my office.
Here, you can have one of mine.
Bullshit, Ben.
I
Show
have-
them guns. Show them guns, Ben. Show them guns.
You show him, I'll show mine.
10-pound brick of granite or marble right
There you
there.
go.
Why is that on a shelf?
Dead Palace. Somebody actually made this for us.
And Ryan has a pencil, so he's John Wick
Or Jason Bourne.
Jason Bourne.
or Jason Bourne.
The Joker.
Or Jordan Jones.
Or, yeah.
All right,
Oh my
bounties.
God.
Wrap it up.
Yeah,
I did
sorry,
that.
Ben brought up a thing I have to bring up. It'll be real quick. I come home from school one day when I'm a senior in high school. Jordan and I are 10 years apart ish, so he was young.
So this was
and-
last week.
Shut the fuck. Oh my God! It's been so long since you fucking picked on my age.
You set me up for it on that one.
So I come
stop
home
clock
as a
on that
senior in
one.
high school, and my mom is yelling at Jordan, like laying into Jordan, and he's like head down. So I'm like, "What happened?" And she was like, "Let me tell you, he stabbed a kid at school with a pen because he thought it would be funny." And I started fucking dying laughing.
It was hilarious.
Mission accomplished.
She was
logical.
Like, she was like, "This is not funny," and I was like, "Oh yes, it is." And she was like, "No, it's not." And I was like, "Hold up, Jordan, what did we
It's
watch?"
not, but it is.
I was like, "Jordan, what did we watch this weekend?" And he was like, "Jason Bourne." And I was like, "What does Jason Bourne attack a guy with in the first movie?" And he was like, "A pencil." And I looked at my mom and went, "Whoops!" And my dad, who was standing there watching, started dying laughing as well because Jordan watched Jason Bourne fight a guy with a pen, and then went to
Yep.
school and was like, and they got
Hey.
in trouble for it.
Not to divert even further, but
Jesus.
every sound effect in that fight scene is canned. Royalty free. Yeah.
He falls out the window and yeah. Okay, we wrap up our show with our bounties. Our bounties are what we want to tell you guys to watch, read, listen to, or play, because we have watched, listened, read, or played those things in the last week. Who wants to go first? Someone, tell me what you've been up to. Give us your boundaries.
Everybody throw up a number.
25.
Not you, Caleb. You're the host. Caleb.
What are we doing?
I don't know. Caleb, pick a number. What was the
Okay.
number based? Okay.
Anyway,
Ryan, go
I'll
first.
just go.
Jesus
No,
Christ.
Ryan, go.
There you go.
I
Ryan,
got
just
my
go.
iPad so I can't remember the names of the games I've been playing. So let me go grab my iPad. So somebody
Old Man's
Okay,
Journey.
Eric, go first.
I find it odd that he's got to get an iPad for that. Does that speak to something larger? That we're just giving up our memory to digital.
No.
Anyway,
No, the larger thing
I
you're
don't wanna
missing
get
is
into
that
that.
he's playing mobile games.
He's part of the Apple cult. Anyway, forward.
Oh,
He's playing mobile
Oh.
games. He's playing mobile
Okay.
games. Remember that?
on his console. Anyway, let's see. I've been, since we played last, it's been all Gears of War. We struggled through the weekend with the early launch, which was pretty frustrating, especially with the Xbox Live service outage. Other than that, the campaign so far is everything I wanted it to be. Ryan streamed a very spoiler-filled set of Gears today. My stream was no spoilers at all. It was weird how we pulled that off.
So full of shit.
we're co-streaming it. It was yeah, it's really cool. Really like what they're doing with it. I don't think I'm going to get to wrap up the campaign tomorrow. I may just play some Horde or some multiplayer focused stuff tomorrow. But yeah, it's great. Other than that, that's really about it. And then Borderlands 3 on Friday, which will just consume my life
Ben, stop that. It's annoying.
for
Can you hear it?
years to
Yes.
come. I was gonna do it with you, but I lost one of the bearings out of mine, so now it's like.
Oh,
Blah, 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 blah. Anyway,
we got the older people on the podcast, mind you, are playing with fidget spinners, and that's something
Yeah.
worth mentioning.
And I'm updating my status on my MySpace right now. So yeah.
Anything in the other columns other than games, Eric? Nope. All right, dope.
no.
Ryan, you went and fetched your iPad. What you been playing? What you been up to?
Muted.
muted. homie.
I'll tell you what you've been up
Past couple
to.
days,
tell you
I've,
Let me tell you something, man.
I've been playing Gears off and on with Eric through the little lag spikes and crap, and dying a shitload for dumbass reasons. A lot, man. It was so much today. But I was also playing. Every Wednesday, I go over to my in-laws' house, and I usually take my iPad and find some new games or whatever to play in between the card games that we play over there. I picked up a couple. There's one called Badlands. It's a top-down battle royale. Like, so it's like you kind of aim with like a joystick in one direction and like you shoot that way. Like you can only spin in circles. It's not like first person or third person. It's literally top down. And it's a battle royale. You literally land and find weapons and do everything you do in a battle royale, but just top down, like Call of Duty, like that old school Call of Duty zombies mode that they had that you can unlock on the original Black Ops game. And then they have another one called Pocket Build. You literally just have like a little town that you start off building in, and you just honestly build anything and everything that you want to. It's like a 3D block world, and it's like it's like a city builder. I would call it. It looks really good. The visuals are done really well. The color schemes and everything like that are very cool. If anybody ever played Kingdom of Keflings on Xbox 360, I don't know if anybody ever remember that.
No,
It's
I mean I
something
know of
similar
it,
to
but I
that.
never played it.
Yeah, it's something similar to that, but it's just like the top-down city skylines type thing, just like 3D, very colorized game. It's very fun.
Dope.
But other than that, I've been watching Superstore, and there's a new show that I've been watching called The Dome.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's where a dome falls over top of the city, and it's a see-through dome, but it's soundproof and everything, and nobody can go through it. And they're trying to figure out what's going on, like what is causing this or anything like that.
Is
like,
Pauly Shore in it?
No.
Fidget spinner salute. What did I say? Fidget spinner salute. There we go. That's It's an old man joke.
It
Alright, go
is.
for it.
I knew Ben would get it.
Fidget spinner salute.
All right, Ben, what you been up to?
If y'all don't hashtag that at least twice this week, I'm coming for you.
I have actually been trying to put together a Homeworld retrospective. Homeworld 3 was announced in the last 7 days. It's already reached $700,000 on its FIG crowdsourcing, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to do a video called "What is Homeworld?" So I've been trying to put about 5 hours into that every week to get through it. Beyond that, it's not been a great week for recreational anything. I've been putting a lot of videos together, putting my book together. What else I had my buddy Ian come over and we played River City Girls on stream. That was a lot of fun. We're gonna be doing that again on Monday, I believe.
Game is awesome looking.
It's pretty interesting. Not to cast any aspersions before my review or anything, but it's not perfect.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to give them a little bit of slack because a lot of games of that era, the side-scroller beat-em-ups weren't perfect either. And they were... Jordan's very unsatisfied with that going on, whatever's behind him. Sorry, you audio listeners, that's irrelevant. But a lot of side-scroller beat-em-ups in the day weren't perfect either and were very exasperating. And you just died easily because they were emulating the sort of quarter-munching mentality where games were based on an arcade model to just eat your money. So they were hard and relentless. Like if you played any of the Turtles arcade games, either Turtles Arcade or
Turtles.
or like what's the Manhattan Heist or something like that, all the Turtles in Time, they're all based on moves that you can't defend. There's no block button. And you just get hit because the game was designed to make you die, put another quarter in and keep playing. And this kind of feels like that. Like every time somebody gets up off the ground, you get hit. There's nothing you can do about it. But in this game, you can block. So there's a lot of shortcomings that I feel are sort of intentional, otherwise, an homage to the genre. So I have a lot to compress and decompress when I review it. It is a lot of fun. We did play it for freaking 4 hours. So, though we did rage quit. And the video's on our YouTube page if you guys want to look it up. But that's basically my whole week. We did finish the last season of The Good Place, which is the last season that's even aired right now with a very emotional ending. You guys need to watch that. It goes from silly slapstick to deeply philosophical in the 3 seasons, and the last 4th season will be its last season. It's an amazing show, as Tech Supreme can attest. And that's it for me. Thank you for listening.
All right. Jordan, have you been playing anything or watching any shows or movies or listening to any music you want to share with people?
To be honest, I only pretty much, my bad. I honestly play like 2 games, which is kind of not cool, but I only play like Fortnite and like 2K. It's like, I'm a sports guy, and then I don't know. I've been playing some
sports and esports, baby.
Yeah, I've been playing some Halo Wars too. I'm always down to play Halo Wars.
What are you looking forward to? What's coming out this year that you want to play? Anything?
Call of Duty.
Yeah, we'll be right there with you, buddy. Absolutely.
Yeah. For the first time in a minute, we'll all be getting Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Word. Okay, but other than that, like,
okay,
that, yeah. But anyways, like, just those 2 games really, and then also Ghost Recon too. Ghost Recon, yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about Ghost Recon. I got to get back into playing that some more. But
Listening to any music that you want to share?
not really.
Post Malone.
I don't even know who that is anymore. But anyways, literally I don't know who that is. But no, not music, but like
any shows?
Shows.
It looks like he smells
I've been
like
watching.
socks.
I've been
Not
okay.
you.
I've been watching. I've been watching like All American.
What's All American?
Football. It's about football. Like this kid is in high school, and like it's just about off the field and and on and on the field. But it's I've probably liked the second episode, but people are like you should get into it. It's really good, but I don't watch football, so like I don't know. It's pretty decent,
All right.
It's not bad. But that, and also I watch The Office like constantly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like
You better.
It
Yeah.
never stops.
it
I'm
never
on.
stops.
Every time I finish the season of the U.S. Office, I watch the U.K. Office. I think I
never
can make.
watched the UK.
I think I can make a
Can't
list
do it.
of 10 to 20 things that leaked from one show to the other. I'm on my like fourth UK Office, and there's a lot more. You know, with Pam being into art and all that stuff, like there's a lot there that crosses over. It's crazy.
Interesting.
You need to. It's painful. This is a version of British comedy that's cringe max, and you're just watching it, just going, it's all awful. It's just now if you're watching with somebody else, like it's hilarious, but by yourself, you're like, he's not funny. Nobody else thinks he's funny. This is just So that's the UK Office. That
Alright.
face, clip that. That's UK Office. That's UK Office.
I need a gif of Ben doing that. This week for me has been pretty busy. I am finishing up Creature in the Well, a code we got from Flight School, which is the developer. That game is fucking weird, and I really like it. Like, I didn't think I would. It's super off the beaten path for what I normally play, but it's a dungeon crawler mixed. It's like a dungeon crawler and roguelite had a baby with a pinball game and a breakout game.
Yeah, it's pretty strange.
It's
a strange
real
combo.
weird, but I love it. It's a lot of fun. I'm also gonna start playing through Agent A. Haven't done that yet, but that's another code that I got. And then Control, Gears.
I do want to give a little bit of 60 seconds to Falcon Age, real quick.
Oh yeah, go for it.
It feels pretty independent. It's a first-person adventure game where you've got a control of a falcon. It's pretty neat. You can tell him like go pick that fruit or go attack that enemy. It feels pretty handmade, but it's thoughtful. It's supposed to be only 3 hours long, so I imagine I'm about halfway through it. I don't know the price tag, and I think that'll dictate my final thoughts on it, to be honest.
Yeah, I
But-
think it came out previously on PSVR or some VR platform.
Interesting. It's
And
pretty
now it's coming to-
simple
yeah.
visually. I could see it being more interesting as a VR game, but it's interesting. It's fun, and nothing made me want to quit playing. So
Yeah, it's PSVR.
yeah, so it's thoughtful, and apparently, from what I've read, that the finale has a message, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
Anyway, so I'm playing that right now.
Yeah. I'm a little behind on The Good Place. I just finished the first season. If y'all haven't seen that show, the end of the first season has a heel turn in it that is
Every episode has a heel turn. Every season has a big heel turn.
sure.
Every season takes the whole season and goes whoop.
Yeah. So like the season finale, a character goes from one demeanor to another in like the change of a facial expression, and it's
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 incredible.
so good. It's so
Yep.
good. But I won't. I don't want to spoil anything. So
That's of all the shows over the last few years, that's one of the easiest ones to spoil.
yeah. So I'm gonna keep
A
from
lot
doing
changes.
that. I'm not watching any other show. I finished Barry season 2. No, I didn't. I just watched one.
No, we need to start that. I need
The
to write
show's
that
very,
down.
very, very good. And then listening. Not much new music. The new Monster Cat song on Rocket League's fucking dope. But that's it. So before we wrap up, before we say goodbye, we always do one thing. It's your favorite little mini segment on the show, and I've been nailing the title music, so it hasn't been as
Jinx
funny
yourself.
apparently for everybody else.
Smurf facts, oh yeah.
But it's time for our Smurf facts. Smurf sent in a little fact this time, a little smaller than the last one. Where would we be without the microprocessor? Intel, with the help of Ted Hoff, introduced the first microprocessor, the Intel 4004, on November 15th, 1971. The 4004 had 2,300 transistors, performed 60,000 operations per second, addressed 640 bytes of memory, and cost $200. I wish that there was a little bit of information as to what a microprocessor can do now. Right? Like, the 4004 and 71 did 60,000 operations per second. What does a processor do now? I think Smurf and Sketch are both looking that up. Smurf says... Smurf says, tune in next week for the rest of the facts.
Yeah, I think now we measure things in like from kilo to mega to tera, you know. So I think we're using references now that aren't even applicable to the first microprocessor.
Well,
So-
we'll find out because Smurf said he's going to give it to us next week.
Okay,
And gigaflops, teraflops,
there you go, from tera to giga. That's right.
donkey flops.
Wouldn't Giga be before Terra? But
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know my Latin.
Gigabyte, terabyte. A terabyte's 1,000 gigs.
Right.
If you want to listen to the show, we do post this show on all podcast services. Not all. I don't know why I said that. A lot of podcast services. There's surely one we missed. On Fridays, we are also going to post this video on YouTube on Fridays. So you'll be able to watch this entire stream on YouTube if you missed it tonight.
Fantastic.
You can find anything that we write at nerdybits.com /read, anything that we record on podcasts at nerdybits.com /listen, and any stream stuff, which we have a bunch of changes to how we're streaming and the videos we're putting out on nerdybits.com /watch. If you want to send in questions for our next week's podcast, which next week's is Borderlands 3. If you have any questions or you have any feedback based on what you've experienced when the game comes out and you want us to talk about it on the show, send it to nerdybits.com /contact. You can find me everywhere it's important at LubWub. You can follow NerdyBits on Twitter at nerdy_bits and on Instagram at _nerdybits. Ben, where can people find you?
Sketch Sawyer, everywhere,
Everywhere.
and now on YouTube.
Yes. And Eric, where can people find you, my friend?
Hybrid Glass everywhere
Everywhere.
as well.
Yes. And Ryan, where can people find you?
Sergeant Sodium on everything.
Dope. Jordan, you got social medias you want to share?
Okay, I got Instagram, I got Snapchat, I got Instagram, I got Snapchat, a little bit of Facebook. I'm on Facebook sometimes. What else do I got? I got Twitter.
How do we find you though?
How do you-
we
What's your
find you
handle
on
on
Snapchat?
Instagram? What's your handle on Instagram?
Instagram is Jordan in the Mix.
Okay.
All together,
Snapchat
baby.
is what?
Snapchat is Faceplant23. I don't know why.
Okay.
Twitter
I don't
is
know.
what?
My Twitter is
Super Eagle 15.
no. It's
Niner.
no. It's
Niner.
Jordan Joni with a bunch of
It's
E's. at the end.
JONEEEE because he couldn't make it easy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to work on
We're
that.
gonna work on
Brand
the brand,
consistency.
Yeah.
All right.
That'll do it.
Dope. Yeah. Some of us will be on playing after this. I'm gonna see what we can do on the Xbox. Jordan and I might play some split screen Gears with Ryan if he wants to join us.
Who's gonna be Jack?
Not I.
The fucking kid is gonna be Jack. That's what's gonna happen. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening to those of you who are listening, and we will catch you guys on the.
On the
On the
flippity flip.
Literally, everybody wanted to do that.
Later, guys.